everyone. Happy Tuesday. Really excited to be with you all. And I think I'm having some technical difficulties. Hold on. Hello. Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. I think there was some technical stuff going on, but I'm happy to be here with you. Hello, everyone. My name is Janelle Villiers, and I am your host of the Janelle Villiers podcast, where I talk about all things books, really, to be honest. How do you write them? How do you edit them? How do you publish them? How do you market them? All the things. So if this is also, at many times I also interview authors. We had an author on last week. I was really excited to have Maisha on with us, best-selling author, two-time best-selling author. Maisha was with us, and she talked to us about her book. And if you guys don't remember, her book is A Little Bit of Therapy and a Whole Lot of God. It was an amazing, it is an amazing book, as well as the accompanying journal that goes with it to help you all out. And so sometimes we interview authors like that, and that was amazing. And then other times we interview people who don't have their books written and published yet, but their story is really important to share. And so we want to make sure that we get their story out there as well. So if this is your first time on the show, go ahead and put a 1 in the comments section. I love to shout out all of my first timers. Hello, welcome. And for those of you who have been here before, go ahead and put a 2 in the comments. Hey, I see you. Welcome back. And I'm just going to get this out early. If you really love what we're talking about today, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, all the things. This just tells the algorithm that what we're sharing here is valuable, and then it shares it to other people. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's free. So what are we talking about today? I'm really excited. Today's topic is build an AI consulting business that still sounds like you. All right. So lately I've been talking a lot more about AI and how it impacts our coaches, our entrepreneurs out there. I really want to focus on that because we know that writing a book can definitely be helpful, but I really want to get in front of the questions around AI and how this can help you, or sometimes not help you or hurt you, and have an open conversation around this. This is really important to me. I just got my certification from to be an AI consultant, and so I think it's worth it to have these types of conversations. And the last time we talked about this, we talked about how AI can make you sound just like everyone else. You can like blend right in if you use AI to generate ideas and things like that, and how you should stay away from doing that. You should actually use your own ideas and your own thought processes, and then use AI to amplify that, or to spread the reach with which that your thoughts and your ways of thinking get out there in the world. And so I wanted to talk about how to build an AI-enabled consulting business without losing your voice, right? So let's start with something that many people are sensing but not really naming clearly, and that's the more people use AI, the more everything starts to sound the same, right? You read a post, you listen to a video, you skim a newsletter, and it just feels familiar, right? It just sounds the same. The structure is familiar. The language is super polished. The tone is really neutral, but something is missing. It really doesn't feel like it's actually based on anything that like a human, right? It doesn't feel distinct. It doesn't really stand out. And this is where the problem really begins, because AI is making it easier and easier to produce, but it's harder to stand out for consultants, founders, and advisors. So your voice is not a preference, it is your positioning. It's literally what makes you different. So when your voice is weaker, essentially now your authority is not as strong, and how you stand out from everybody else is not that clear. You basically look like everyone else. And so the work becomes easier to compare to other people. And I really want you to understand that the risk is not that AI is replacing you. The risk is that it slowly removes what makes your thinking recognizable from everybody else's. Okay. So I know that a lot of times we're just focusing on speed, right, and production, but you're not necessarily creating a foundation for the way that you think, for your intellectual property. And most AI conversations right now are centered on efficiency, right? You hear things like how to create 10 posts in 10 minutes, or how to automate your content, or how to scale output. And that sounds useful. I get it, because I'm doing some of that too, but it skips something that's a lot more important. It skips the question of foundation. What are you about, right? Because speed only works when you have a direction that's clear, when you have a thought process that's very clear. If there's no clear intellectual property, the way you think, your frameworks, or any of that, if none of that is clear underneath, AI pulls from general patterns, general things, and it fills these gaps with common language, and it produces ideas that feel really familiar, but they're not specific. And this leads to you just having like a generic sound to you. People can't tell how you're different, and your messaging might even be inconsistent, right? Because it's pulling from this pool that's already out there. And so over time, your audience stops seeing you as different or distinct. And this, like, how could they think of you as anything else, right? Because AI can't define your thinking. It only can extend what already exists in your thinking. So if nothing is clearly defined, then nothing meaningful is going to get scaled. And I really want to make sure that that's clear. If this is sounding valuable to you, if you're like, oh man, I totally get this, please let me know. Yeah. Hello from Ethiopia. It's really late at night. It's like in the middle of the night over there. No? What time is it? I'll put my link in below, or we can set up a time to chat. Would love to chat. I'm opening to chatting with anyone, to talk with anyone, how we can help each other out. So, okay, so let's go back to some of the things I was talking about. So again, if this is valuable for you, what we've been talking about so far, if you're like, oh man, woo, this is hitting home, I'm doing some of this, go ahead and put a V in the comment section. Let me know this is valuable. Okay. So I just want to reiterate how AI supports structured thinking. So a better way to approach AI is to change the order in which you use it, right? So you basically don't want to use it to think for you. You want to use it to support the thinking that you've already been doing. And so first, you want to define, what is your perspective? What are your thoughts on things, and your opinions and beliefs about things? And then you clarify how you see whatever the problem is that you're solving, and you identify what makes your approach different, right? So you start there. Then the second thing that you're going to do is you're going to structure that thinking. So what are your core frameworks that go along with the approach to solving this problem? What stages do your clients move through to get to the other side where the problem isn't a thing for them anymore, right? What is the language that you use repeatedly? So you're going to focus on that. And then the third thing that you're going to focus on is then this is now what you introduce to AI, because now it has something to work with. It can apply your framework, and it can extend your language, and it can support what you're doing in a more consistent way. Instead of replacing your thinking, you're now reinforcing it, right? Because you gave it how you think, you gave it your frameworks. And so now it's just reinforcing who you are, your voice, your sound. And that's where the real leverage begins, to be honest. Okay, so once you establish that, then it's just a matter of being consistent, right? You want to beat the drum. So you're basically, people know that you're always going to say the same thing, because that's your message, that's the belief, that's the hill you're willing to die on, right? All the things. So that consistency is what makes your authority become real, right? So high-level clients don't respond to volume, they respond to clarity over time. What they want to see is they want to see that your thinking is the same, it's consistent, it's stable. They want to see that your frameworks are repeatable and that your language around them is consistent. And when your frameworks are like that, and when it's structured, your message doesn't like shift every week, right? It's the same thing. Your ideas essentially just going to continue to build on each other, and your perspective becomes easy to recognize, right? They can say, oh, that's her, or oh, that's him. I know that. I recognize that message, right? So one example of using this is that you can have one framework that shows up in multiple formats, right? So maybe the way in which you solve a particular problem, maybe it solves it in many different areas. So maybe not just in, for me, for example, it's not just writing books, but it's also in how you show up as being a coach, as being a consultant, right? All of that is important too. So I can use my belief that if you continue to use AI to think like you, you're just going to become like everybody else, and no one's going to be able to distinguish you from anybody else. And so your message gets watered down, your authority gets watered down, right? Like all of that, right, is the same. And so I can use the same framework or belief and thinking. I can use it when I'm talking about writing books or when I'm talking about being a coach or being a consultant, right? So that's a way in which you can use your framework to show up, or your beliefs. You can use that to show up in many different areas, right? One idea can be explained in different ways. So you might want to give the AI tool your idea and then ask it to explain it in different ways. And that's really helpful, because some people, when they hear something one way, it clicks. They hear it a different way and it won't. And then for those same, like for another group of people, the way that it didn't click with the first group, all of a sudden with group 2 though, it's clicking, and the other way didn't, right? So saying things in different ways can certainly be helpful, as long as the core stays intact. And so again, your audience is gonna, once the core is the same, they begin to recognize your thinking, they begin to trust your process, and they begin to see you and your stability as an authority in the area, whichever area you're in. So you guys know I love to talk about books, and I just want to remind you that this is where books come in. I mean, they're super important in this particular place, because a book forces you to slow down and define how you think clearly. And so when you write a book, you organize your ideas, you name the different frameworks that you have, you give them names, right? Like cute little things for people to remember. And then you connect your thinking into this overall system, right? And then that system becomes your foundation. And then from there, you can use the AI tools to reference your ideas. You can use them to extend your frameworks to other areas, to help you apply your thinking consistently over time. And then because if AI doesn't have that, it basically is pulling from everywhere, right? And so now your voice is getting mixed in with a whole bunch of other people. And again, you're just going to sound less distinct. And that's really frustrating, right? When you're out there trying to be a consultant, the biggest thing is that you want to distinguish yourself from other people. And so you don't want to allow AI to actually pull you into this like nothingness of like sounding like everybody else. You actually want to use it so that way your ideas, your frameworks, your system actually becomes clear and stands out from the rest of the crowd. So the book is not just a deliverable, but it also becomes a source of alignment with particularly your clients, right? Because you've been able to slow down your framework and how you think and your systems. And so now clients, when they read that, they're like, oh yeah, this like really works for me. Like, this is how I think about these things too. I want to work with somebody who has that frame of mind, right? That way of thinking. And so again, if this is valuable for you, there is somebody from LinkedIn who also has some suggestions. I love this. This is great advice. 2 hot tips. Number 1, have AI interview you to get your perspective or story. I love that advice. Yeah, you can use, I recently did that myself. That was really, really awesome. And then you can take the recording to either put on social media for content, or you can use it to build up your next for your book, right? Even that would be another use for it, right? You get it to interview, and then you start to get your thoughts. You get to get your systems flowing. I love that idea. And the other tip is that use AI to create a brand guardian that helps you refine your content to match your brand voice and your intellectual property. Yeah, you can like check for it, right? You can use the tools to check for like, hey, is this consistent with what I've been saying before? Is this consistent with my voice, my brand? And so I love that advice. Writing a book forces you to clarify your thinking, and it documents your intellectual property. Janelle is great at helping authors. Thank you. Stay true to their voice. I appreciate that. 100%. Yes. So you guys know I'm always going to talk about books, because honestly, it's the thing that that is going to set you apart. It's going to get you clear on your thoughts, your frameworks, all of that. And then you just use AI as like with the tips just given, right, to help just extend them to then expand your reach in terms of who gets to also know about your thoughts. But your book is the foundation. It gets it clear. You get the ideas out of your head onto paper or on the laptop. That's going to get you, that's going to really, really help you for using the AI tools down the line. Okay, so as we bring this in for a landing, some things that I was thinking about as I was pausing for a second. I want you to understand that AI will continue to expand. It's not going away, guys. It's here. It is definitely going to be a part of how you work and how you operate. And it's definitely going to shape how ideas are shared and scaled, for sure. Because how do I know that? Because that's already happening. That's already happening. The real decision, though, is how you decide that you want to use it. You move faster, but not necessarily better if you use the tools. However, if you start with your structure, if you take the time to really think about how you solve the problem, how you structure that, the frameworks, the system around that, then you can build something that's going to last over time. And so before you focus on prompts, before you focus on which AI tool, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, Gemini, whatever it is, before you focus on those, before you even focus on automation, I want you to go back and start defining your thinking, structure your thoughts, your frameworks, your systems, and then I want you to use AI to extend it. That is how you scale without losing your voice. Yeah, helpful? All right, big shout out to everyone who's watching live. If you're watching live, go ahead and put an L in the comments. Let me know. I read all of the comments. If you are watching the replay, this is R for sign language, letter R for replay. You can go ahead and put an R in the comments. Let me know. I would love to talk more. I mean, if you've got more tips and tricks, if you have more suggestions, please, let's start a conversation around this. I'd love to have more people talking about this. I think this is really important. But until then, hey, Verdi, see you watching live. But until then, I look forward to seeing you all next week, same time, same channel. Take care, everyone.